can't hear you, Deborah.
Try now, Deborah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think
Okay, this is on the minutes for June the 8th. It was our regular session. We had, this was on number 11, where it's down close to the very bottom of number, it's 4. It says Alderman Ballas asked the Director of Public Works why the chamber had been sent a water bill. We there that the council said that they had never had to pay a water bill and that we weren't, we didn't want to send them a bill anymore, and that's not in there. And also, the city would maintain the property. Does everybody remember that?
I do.
Okay, we need that put in there.
would you say that again, please, Alderman?
Dan, and it's the next to the last paragraph under number 11.
Yeah, I
Where-
found that.
Oh. We need the answer to his statement stating that the council said that there had never, the Chamber of Commerce had never paid a water bill, and that this always maintained it, and that we didn't want them to get any more water bills. Is that good enough, Dan, or?
Yeah,
Okay, and then on the special session, June the 15th. This is under number 4. We were talking about the pool. And we need to change, it says the limit to admission of 150, we could only put 50% of that, so that needs to be 75.
actually, Alderman,
Uh-huh.
at the time, Ms. Goodyear said that the normal limit was 300 and that 150 would then be 50%.
I thought she said the limit was 150, but maybe I misunderstood her. If that's so, I stand to be corrected.
I'll check my written minutes again to be sure, but it seems to me that the standard maximum capacity is 300.
Is
And
that right?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay, so we need to let Vicky know, because I had told her 75 was
All right.
max. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's all I have, Mayor, on the.
Okay. Okay. While we talk about those numbers right now, I just got a email from Zach, and our active cases has dropped to, I believe, 14. So that changes the rules
Oh,
again.
man, that's great.
So anyway, that changes everything again. So I don't know. But anyway, I think we're okay right now where we are with the swimming pool count, for sure. That even makes it even better.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Okay, I do need someone to entertain a motion and a second for all the meetings.
I make a motion to approve besides what Deborah Middleton said, the minutes for June 2nd, special session June 15th, special session and regular session June 8th.
And I second that.
All motion has been made and second to approve the previous minutes. All in favor of Reuben Weiss,
Aye.
Shannon Wazik, Deborah Milton,
Aye.
Kendra Sellers,
Aye.
Cindy Durham.
Aye.
All motion has been in favor. Are there any more discussions? If there are no more discussions, the approving of the minutes from the previous is passed. Next on the agenda is discussion regarding the recruitment and the appointments of the zoning commission to amend the ordinance 1019 according to the Vernon Civil Statute for the state of Texas, Article 1011A through 1011H, and the establishment of the Board of Variance of the 2-year term. I'm getting a lot of noise. Anyway, at this time, the floor is open actually for discussion. You know, that was one thing we wanted.
Hey, Dan, can you mute everybody, Dan?
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, at this time, we do need to discuss the process or procedures for establishing a new zoning committee. We've discussed, actually everybody on the zoning board now actually has expired. The term is on the last 2 years, so we need to get new zoning members. So what we thought would be better, now that we got our website, I think it's up and running almost, isn't that correct, Dan? And so we would like to post it on our website, advertising for volunteers for the zoning committee. And at that time, we'll try to give them some, I think it'd be nice to give them some type of qualification we're looking for, so we can pick some good qualified members. And we want some members who want to be on there and got some kind of a skills and qualification of that type of job, because it is going to be a difficult job. But we really want to do this thing right this time. And I think we need to set up some guidelines and give them some, if we have bylaws, or give them everything they need. But first thing we do, take things in order, and by I think posting on our website, asking for volunteers to be on the committee. That's kind of all I had to say. I guess you need to kind of open it up for comments, Dan.
All right. Well, I'll keep an eye on everybody, and if someone would like to be recognized, I'll unmute them. Would that work?
Yeah, that'd probably be better. We got a lot of back noise.
Well, let me begin by just telling you that I didn't have a chance to, well, I didn't have an actual opinion from the attorney in memo form, but he did call me and basically said that, well, in the first place, let me just say, Having a zoning board sworn in is not necessarily in itself an illegal problem. It is, however, very problematic. He used the term acting in de facto versus acting in de jure, which means a zoning board that is not sworn in is presumed in the law to be acting in good faith. However, any challenge presented to such a board would be easy to prove. You may have somebody on that board, for example, who has a criminal history or a felony conviction or something that may be revealed later. Whereas if there's an oath, then they're swearing that they are not convicted felons or people of bad faith. So that relieves the city of the responsibility of saying, well, we were negligent in putting this board together. Someone who is sworn in is acting in de jure, which means that they're acting in the full compliance of the law. He said, though, that whatever the committee, you can choose whomever you like to be on that committee. It's better if they're sworn in and if there are clear terms, if they're given exactly what it is you're looking for them to do and how long a time frame you would like to have that process that they're working on take. Once they've done whatever it is they're going to do and offered their changes or written the zoning ordinance, made the changes to it, and also there are, well, his law firm, for example, can write a zoning ordinance that is more tailored to your particular city than the one that we've got, because it appears to him that that was just kind of plucked out of another city and they changed a few things on it. But, and there are problems from the other law firm that's doing our code of ordinances with that too. But long and short of the whole thing is, once they give you the product and they've made their recommendations on the zoning map, then those things have to be produced and you have to have meeting, you have to have, you're gonna have to have hearings, public hearings that do have to be documented, advertised, all of that. And those processes are all outlined in Vernon's Code of Civil Law. And we do have a copy of that. I tried finding some that I could edit or extract online, but they're just too complicated. But the laws themselves, there aren't that many. Mostly in the law books, it's all commentary and rulings and challenges and stuff like that. But as long as they work within the guidelines of Vernon's Code, then we should be fine. And that would be a good place for you all to start to consider what you want them to do and how you want them to do it. And I'll be happy to put together just the concise law. And if you have any questions, I wish I could have you find it online, but anybody's welcome to come by and look at the law books that I've got here and read all of the challenges if that's necessary. I wouldn't want to do it, but that I'll leave you all to your discussion, okay?
Dan, I have a question. Did our lawyer said he could take our ordinance and give us a new ordinance with the up-to-date kind of would fit our city?
In effect, yes. In effect, what he's saying is that get your committee together, let them look at the problem, make their recommendations based on the ordinance that we've got. Say, this needs to be changed, this article needs to be changed, these boundaries need to be changed. We don't have anything like that here, so we don't need any of that. Once those comments are all made around the ordinance that we've got, we could send it to him and he would work it and make it, you know, something that would be defensible and would be appropriate to our circumstance.
Okay. I can understand that, but so first we need to still just pick a committee and everything, And as far as being sworn in, I don't see why we won't insist that everyone be sworn in. I mean, it doesn't take that long.
It sure doesn't hurt anything, and it protects the city going forward if the people who are on there have taken an oath, because that puts the onus of any culpability on that person. If they lied when they took the oath, that relieves the city. The city will accept in good faith if somebody makes an oath that they're of good character and they're going to act in good faith and that they're not a criminal and all of that. So,
Okay. Just for information, I have talked with several people who would love to be on the committee. Lee Larman and Justin Cantrell and Rick Dollahan. So that's three of them. They said they would love to be on there, but we're gonna open it up to the city and who else want to be on there. Is there a limit? Is it 5 or 6? Or can we have?
once again, that's up to when you decide that you're going to do this and you would move on that in a resolution format, then you can, say we're going to have a zoning committee of 5 members and we're looking for certain qualifications, and that these members will act according to, say, Vernon's code and address the particular problems that you've already identified, and then say something like, and any other issues that they may identify in the course of their duties. You should be all right.
Okay, so I guess you can unmute it, everyone, see if anyone ever have anything else to talk about, this question to discuss.
Deborah wants to talk.
Hey, Deborah.
I was
Rudy,
just, do we have the
Deborah,
names of what y'all used in the past when y'all had that zoning board? Do y'all
Do
have
what?
the terms that y'all used? Can you
I
hear?
didn't hear you.
Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Do you have the guidelines that we used when we? No.
No, ma'am.
No, that
Okay.
was no. That was the problem, Deborah. I mean, it wasn't well coordinated. The last time we picked it on, we basically said in our meeting and named people, and I don't remember giving them any guidelines, any bylaws, or anything. We just turned them loose. That's the best I can remember when that happened. But it was very unorganized, and I think, no one really. I mean, people done the best they could, but we didn't give them nothing to really go by. No type of guidelines, or we just told them what we kind of wanted, but it wasn't really nothing official for them to really go by.
Okay.
But I think we want to do better this time. That's why I said we should sit down with our ordinance, with our team, and then really give them something to shoot for, what they're working on, what it is they're working on, and what they can and can't do. But we didn't do that. I mean, at that time it was different people in place, but anyway. But we need to do something about it, because we do have some problems that needs to be fixed. Trucks and a lot of other things, but we need to start it back up.
I suggest that we look at maybe 2 other towns that have a zoning board around our size and see what their guidelines are, and let us have something to go by. So we're not just grabbing something, just what everybody thinks. We have something to look at. And so
That's what we just doing. We were going by Tahokas. That's what we just was doing. Well, I understand. Tahoka was one of them.
I'm sorry, I thought you said we didn't have anything. So that's okay.
No, that's what we found out later, what we was going by based on our ordinance. Our ordinance was based on what Tahoka had. Not the guideline for the zoning. I never seen anything on that. But it won't hurt anything. I mean, we're trying to do it best. I mean, that's be a good start. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, we can ask Denver City, Seminole, see what theirs is about. And
We want to ask someone that is a general law, the same as us, and about the same number of people. We want to ask someone in the 2,500 to 3,500 people. We don't want to get a 10,000 and up town. That's my opinion. Somebody else speak up.
I agree.
Mayor,
Dan,
Franklin Legal, it's franklinpublishing.com, have published codes of ordinances from practically every city in Texas. Do a Google search of Texas general or type A general law cities, population range, and then look on the Franklin Legal website. Pick that town out, go to their zoning ordinance, and there you'll have their zoning ordinance. I don't know about the guidelines that they use to select the committees or anything like that, but you'll be able to do what you're wanting to do, and independent of having to wait for somebody to get you that information, okay?
Sounds good.
okay.
Can I make a comment?
Kendra?
The only comment I have in reference to this is I'd like for us to act on this expeditiously. It seems like we've been, well, doesn't seem like we have been discussing this for years now. And, I want to put a time frame on it. We need, if you're going to put something on the website, I'm not opposed to that, but, set a time limit for that, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or by next meeting, we need to have something in place. We need to make a move. We need to move on this.
I agree 100%. I mean, we've been talking about it actually we hadn't done anything about zoning. I don't remember last time, but we're behind for sure.
Mayor?
There you go. Ruben?
Yes, I agree with Kendra's saying. We need to move on this. But I do have a question. If we're going to open it up, and I know you said you recommended 3 guys that are interested. So, I mean, if we have more than 5 people, signed up for this, are you gonna keep those 3 guys you said and 2 more?
No.
Okay.
That's no.
Okay.
I asked them if they all was interested. It's up
Okay.
to the council to pick who they want, who they
Okay.
think would best fit.
Okay.
No, we hadn't picked anyone.
Okay. All right.
Those guys just showed the interest, so it's very hard to get anybody that want to do anything like that. So,
Yes, sir.
I mean, since I'll be really shocked, but I would love to just open it up to the city so they could have a chance. The more people we have participating in some of these projects in the city, maybe they'll help us.
Mayor, and as far as opening it up to the public, not a lot of people know that we have a website. So how can we get it out there more than just like let them know there's just a website for that? I mean, how can we put it out there more?
I don't know. We just gonna have to do it by word of mouth. That's on. We don't have people who. I don't do Facebook stuff. So I mean, whatever way you can communicate, just tell people our website is back up and running. I'm saying I know. I mean, we don't have any other way.
Mayor,
Yes, Cindy.
is there, like, could we put, I don't know if the bank allows things like that on their sign, or, I mean, we can post signs, but what about if we could print something on the water bill, if there's enough room for that?
Well, Renee, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
There's not,
Cindy?
yeah, there's not enough room on the water bill. It only prints like 2 little lines.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could always make up some flyers and mail them out. We could make up some stuff to go out and post in all the public places and take them to the churches and see if they'll post them. I mean, there's lots of ways where we can get that out.
You
And we
know,
can
I think
even
that may be a
include
good
them
idea.
inside.
The main thing is to let them know that we got our website back up and running, and
Yeah.
kind of give them, you know, a easy map to how to get to it, and then maybe that would help. Plus word of mouth. But
Yeah.
Deborah,
I may be going against the rest of the council, but we're probably going to get, I'm just saying, what if we get 50 applicants? We're going to have 5 on this board. It's going to make some people mad. I mean, I'm just thinking ahead. I'm like Kendra. I want to get this done. I think we shouldn't advertise. I think us as a board should decide. And I'm just thinking ahead to do away with a few headaches. You're going to have people volunteer, and then they're going to get mad because they didn't get selected. Before we can even send anything out, we've got to have a criteria of what we're going to go by. They live in the city limits. Do they have a high school education? We've got to think of things like that. But if y'all want to open it up to the public, I'm not for that, though. That's my opinion.
well, how do we go about picking who we want on the committee? I mean, I know of 3 that would love to be. So do we go with them 3 and pick some more? What do we do?
Cindy.
Yeah. When I was asked to be on the zoning variance board by the previous mayor, he just contacted me. So that's how, I don't know if that's what they'd been doing in the past or what.
If I may,
Dan?
it would probably be reasonable to have people from varied backgrounds, but also with specific experiences and interests. For example, and this is from me meeting with city planners, etc. You want to get business people who have an interest in business and where they would think there would be good opportunity for new business. You may want to have someone, well, like Mr. Cantwell, a surveyor, people with expertise. But my point is, according to Mr. Akers again, it's desirable that there be 1 or 2 actual aldermen on such a board that would help you steer it and control the timeline. So that's just a suggestion for you.
I like that idea. I want at least one alderman on there.
On each board? On the zoning board and one on the variance board?
Actually, yes, Alderman. It's desirable to have some representative member of the governing body on such a board. It lends credibility, and also it helps to steer the process and keep it legal.
So we kind of at a standstill now. So what process are we going to use to try to pick other people? I mean, we talked about what we're going to do, man. If we want to move on this fast, are we going to?
Mayor,
Mayor,
Kendra?
so there's 5 council members. How about we all 5 come up with a name and present that to, we contact the person that we can come up with. And then at our next meeting, we'll bring those names. If they've agreed on, if the person agrees that they'd be willing to serve, then we present those names at the next meeting. Maybe one of us can do some homework on getting those guidelines set in place. I volunteer to do it. I'll volunteer to get some of those guidelines together and present those at the next council meeting. But maybe if we all come up with a name, then we can start from there.
Mayor,
Yes, Ruben.
I like the idea that Kendra did. There's 5 of us, but what if one of us, each one of us pick a name? I pick one, Kendra pick one, Cindy pick one, Deborah pick one, and Shannon pick one. And then there's our 5. Or, I mean, if
Mayor,
Deborah?
I do think we need to have a few requirements. I mean, y'all speak up. Do you think they need to live in the city limits?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like the idea, and if I'll go ahead and say, even if we have a 7-member team, that's going to be 5 people. Plus, if we pick someone off of the board, well, if Charles even wants to find someone, that would be 6 plus a chamber member. That would be 7.
What if we pick someone from each zone?
That's fair. Yes. Someone from
I mean,
our
From our district.
When you do it that way, then you would eliminate. You might not get the right qualified people that way, but at least I think it would be fair if you just try. If you talk about zoning over the whole city, then they would feel more ownership.
I like
That's
that
just
idea.
my opinion.
I like that.
I like that one. Well, I guess we agree on that. I mean, I like that idea, Mayor.
Okay, well, let's just put our heads together and let's just we want to do this fast. So at the next meeting, at our next regular meeting, we'll come up with names from each one of those zones. And then sometime we may not be able to, we'll have to decide then. Or we just got to feel it out. But I think that would be the best start, my opinion only.
Agreed.
Cindy
Okay,
has. or state.
Mayor, what,
Yeah,
how will we know where everybody lives? I mean,
I have a map of your
okay,
district.
and of districts or, okay.
That's what you were talking about.
So
isn't
there's four districts. No, there'll be
it?
five.
Five.
Okay, okay.
yeah. How many do we want? Do we want 6 of an odd number last time is better if you voted. But
Yeah.
Well, there's 5 district. We pick 5, and then you pick 1, and then I think I heard Alderman Middleton said something about a chamber member. I don't know.
okay.
That'll make 7.
I said a board, I mean, one of the city
Yeah.
council,
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
yeah.
that'll work.
I still think we need one of the city council out of the.
Okay, then
one
the 7th one will be a council member. Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
All right.
I lost my stuff.
So for the record, you've decided that each alderman will canvass their own district and select a candidate from that district and bring forward at the next meeting if that candidate has agreed they'd be willing to serve. Is that correct?
I think that's what we said.
What I understood.
Oh boy. I didn't hear you.
Yes, and it will be a 2-year term. And so, yes.
I don't think that the committee that writes the zoning committee, there's no definite term. They're gonna do this one job and develop the ordinance. And in that ordinance, you're gonna wanna be sure that they include that there will be a variance committee, a variance board, who will have a specific term of 2-3 years. And they are the first arbiter of any dispute. If they can't resolve it, then it graduates to the council for the ultimate resolution. But the committee, the zoning board, once they've done their job, they're done. It's not for any specific term. It's the term, it's how much time you give them to develop this zoning ordinance or make their recommendations on the amendment. Then it moves to the attorney to be written up and polished. Then we have to take it and have hearings, get feedback. Maybe the committee has to go back and take those suggestions from the public from those hearings into consideration, decide whether or not to act on them and tweak it. So that's the type of process. But once you have the ordinance that you enact as law, their job is done. That's what I've been able to find out how it works.
Mayor
The
Evans,
zoning board. Deborah?
are you wanting to fill both? If so, then each 5 of us will find someone for the zoning board and then one for the variance? Or are we just filling the zoning board?
Well, I guess I'm getting lost because I thought we decided that the variance board was going to be the council. Is that not right?
There's no reason you can't do that. It's up to you, according to the attorney. The city council may select anyone they wish for either the zoning committee, who's going to be recommending and writing the ordinance, or the variance board. So that's entirely up to you. There's nothing set in stone on that. The only thing is when you have the variant, he recommends everybody take an oath before they begin. And the variance board really should be the ones that are taking an oath sworn in, because their decisions may affect the wealth of a fellow citizen. So you really want to have somebody of integrity and somebody that would be hard to challenge.
Mayor Evans.
Yes.
Board members, I'm kind of leaning on y'all, but I do agree with Charles. I do think we did discuss this because it was a time concern. Last time we had this, we had too many, like a month go by before everything was situated to get the variance board together to have a meeting and make decisions. Then it still came to us and we still had the final vote. So isn't that what we want? We want to do away with the variance board and us just make a decision.
It'll cut out one step. It seems like ultimately it's going to come to the council anyway.
I agree.
I agree with Alderman Middleton.
Just be sure that you write that into your ordinance then.
Okay. So you got that, Dan, what we're gonna do?
Well, as I understand it, your decision tonight is that each one of the aldermen will, from within their respective districts, canvass and recruit a nominee, and then that will be the pool that you'll select from. You may choose some other people, professionals. A lot of time, cities can contract to have this kind of thing done. You can hire a certified city planner who already knows all of the laws and everything like that. Might be pretty helpful, but you probably have to pay them. But yeah, the way I've got it is that basically each one of you is going to bring somebody forward, the mayor as well, and that you're going to want to have at least one government representative on that board. And take it one step at a time. Don't get too far ahead of yourselves. When they're writing the ordinance, if you want them to put in the ordinance that the city council shall serve as the board of variance, then that's the way it can be written. If they write into it like the current ordinance says that there will be a board of variance that is appointed by the city council, this board will serve a 2-year term, and etc. And also, at any time, a subsequent council has the perfect legal right to amend your ordinance and change that if they're not comfortable acting as the variance board. So
Okay, I believe we got it. Anyone else have any more questions on what we discussed or going to do? Okay, Dan, you got that all documented. We'll proceed to the next agenda item. The next item, discussion regarding a wastewater rate adjustment to meet the bond obligation for the needed treatment plants in order to avoid penalties from the Texas Commission on the Environmental Quality. And I guess what we're saying in short, we need to make up our mind and on the rates that we have got from Mr. Neal, and at the same time, as we go through step 1, buying the land, if we buy the land, I mean, we are going to have to use the rate study that Neal has provided us. I know it's going to increase people's sewer rate and water rates, but that's unfortunate. That's what it's going to take for us to pay for that land. I mean, for that water treatment plant. And according to Renee, you know, we've just been getting by, I guess, for the last several years without any penalties. So I don't know how much longer we can do that. So we need to plant, and we got the grant, everything working. So if we buy the land, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. We're gonna have to go up on the rates. So we're open for discussion because we really need to think about it because it is going to increase a lot of people's rates, and I know they're not going to be happy with it, but that's the only choice we have to make that happen. And then actually we're going to need to be making that start pretty soon. So we need to discuss it and make up our minds tonight, you know, what moving forward, what are we going to do? We can buy the land. If we buy the land, then we got to put the rates in place. I don't know if y'all have seen a simple version of the rate plan that Renee had. I've seen it from Renee. I think she sent it to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we got just as an update, we did get an email from Carol today where she has been approved to be the executor of that property. So now the next thing we got to do is just send it to our lawyer for him to follow up, and I think they made some changes, but he just needs to look at it and go over it and make things like we want it.
Mayor Evans,
Yes, Deborah.
I missed the meeting where y'all had the presentation on the I guess the rate and everything, what he had brought to you. But looking at this, I agree. I mean, I think this looks good. I think if everybody's in line with it, I think we need to go ahead and approve it and move on.
I agree. It would probably, I mean, the presentation really was, it was pretty difficult to understand. I really think what you're looking at is what you need to know. I mean, that makes it more simple right there. And to me, that is actually the minimum, you know, if people are going to be charged that, and we know there's going to be more than that. So that's the least we can do right there. So but we're actually talking about two things here at one time. Now, if we buy the land, we need to go ahead and make up our minds. If we're going to do that, then at the same time, we need to decide on the rates that was presented to us by Chris Neal. You know, I mean, as soon as we can, you know, we need to start communicating this type of stuff to our community and citizens about what's going to happen. And maybe we can get together and format some type of letter, a big understand what's going to go on here in the near future. Because I hate to just hit them just blindsided. I'm sure lots of them already have heard about it, but we need to communicate it to them that this is what's getting ready to happen, and the reason behind it, of course. So what is the verdict? Do y'all want to still go forward with buying the land? The Mailer property?
We've already voted on that, Mayor.
Okay, all right. That's been approved then. All right, now, the next issue, that's been approved. Now, what about the zoning rates? I mean, the rates, the rate increase.
I make a motion that we accept the rate for the wastewater plant that we're needing, the rate adjustment that has been brought to our attention, being residential going up $12.50 a month, commercial going up $14 a month.
I second it.
Motion has been made and second to increase the rate per Chris Neal's presentation. All in favor, Ruben Vaz,
Aye.
Deborah Milton,
Aye.
Kendra Sellers,
Aye.
Sandra Durham. Motion has been made and second. Are there any more discussions? If there are no more discussion, the motion passed. Thank y'all for getting that done. That was to me, that's a big jump on what we need to do to continue with moving the grant forward. So. Okay, next on the agenda.
Mayor,
Yes, Deborah.
I-
I mean,
this is
Renee.
Renee. Yes, sir. I just wanted to ask one question. What kind of time frame are y'all looking at before the rates are raised actually for the public? I mean, how soon do you want us to get out the notifications, and then how soon do you want us to start the rate increase? What time frame are you looking at?
Okay, let me ask you a question. If we're doing what we're doing tonight, and let's get back to Dale, and if that all goes into place, what kind of time frame gonna be before they start on the plant? If everything's approved, a year? So do we need to start?
I'm not sure about that. I will find out. I know that we have to have all of our paperwork done within the year. And then I don't know when our payments start. That's the big question. I don't know when our first annual payment will be due. And we will probably need about a year of rate increase before we can make that payment. But I will get with Dayla and I will ask her.
Yeah, I kind of expected that. Maybe we'll wait until you hear from Dalo.
All right.
So we decide on that, I think, because
Okay.
you know, it's bad enough to have to go up on it. I hate for it to be going up on it and be 2 years before they
Well,
actually happen.
the last time I talked to her, she told me that we need to do it as soon as possible. But I will ask her and I will get some definite times.
Okay, all right. Well, then we'll I guess we'll respond at that time.
Okay.
Mayor,
Thank you.
Yes, Deborah.
Renee, is there any way you can find out in the next week or so? Because that's something we might need to know when we start working on our budget, because we need to start working on our budget now.
Yes, ma'am. I will call her. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Okay. Yes.
I mean, this is just me, but, and I don't know whatever this lady says, but I think we ought to at least give them 60 days, don't you? With what's going on now. I mean.
You know, that's what I like to do, you know.
I mean,
I like to communicate it to the citizen first and tell them what's coming. And from that point, we tell them it's going to be that long, give them a little time to digest it. I mean, rather than just hit them cold turkey. But anyway, they need to know about it. I think they sure need to know about it before it happens. And I agree. That sounds like an idea to me.
Yeah, I mean, at least, and if we can give them longer, that's okay. A lot of people are still suffering, job-wise and everything else.
You're right. Okay. Moving right along. On the next, the consent agenda. It's all four departments here. Anybody have any questions about any one of the team leads or any department? Ooh, yeah. Cindy.
Okay, I'm on my soapbox. The one on the city secretary, the paying for the veterinary bills for Amber Reed, for Reed's Ranch and Rescue. And we had the documentation from the attorney that says that we can do that if we all are in agreement that this is a wise decision amongst the board. Did y'all have time to read that?
Yes.
Does everybody agree?
Yes.
Yes,
I agree.
yes.
Okay.
So do we,
For clarification, I've got a bill right now from the veterinarian, and it hasn't been paid, but I can pay it. There's, and it goes to what Alderman Middleton was talking about, the budget. When I put the budget together this year, I'll put in, and since it's going to be a city expense, I'll put it in the administrative budget. You'll want to think about how much you want to put into that for taking care of these kind of expenses. And you'll also want to outline what exactly you're going to pay for. Are you going to pay for, is it just animals that are picked up and we're going to just do vaccinations on them? Are we going to, if they're being put up for adoption, are you going to do like spay, neuter, that kind of thing? Because what Monty was telling me is that you really just kind of want to be clear. That was the challenge. You see that just the idea of taking public money and giving it to a certain person or a nonprofit, that by itself is against the Constitution. But that Constitution, that particular item in the Constitution has been successfully challenged when a city council can document and prove that what they're doing is in the best interest of the entire community. So the more you can spell out exactly what it is, what your purpose in doing it is, and how far you're willing to go with that, and putting limits on it, that's all important things to consider, all right?
Mayor,
yes, Cindy?
we had put this in the budget for $300 a month, only for Reed's Ranch and Rescue. So that's $3,600 a year for animals taken from our facilities to get them ready to be rehomed. So if that requires vaccinations, and a rescue is not going to allow to let an animal leave them without being spayed or neutered, because that's the problem in our town anyway, is that we have too many dogs. And if we just took them like they used to before Amber started helping us, and we took them over, had our animal control take them and have them euthanized like they did in the past, it's probably minimum $80 to $100 a dog. And Amber has took, I can get the exact figures, but 400 plus dogs out of Seagraves every year. So that's a lot of money that it would cost the city. That's our problem. I mean, it's our problem because we don't have rules, and you know, dogs are just being, bred here. And I mean, it's a state problem. It's not just Seagraves, it's a state problem. And so, I mean, you know, that's a lot of money that she's saving us for $300 a month. And she gets special deals because she's a rescue. So they charge her less. So, I mean, whatever y'all think, but I mean, I trust Amber is what I'm saying. I trust her judgment on what needs to be done to get it rehomed.
In the state of Colorado, as a statewide law, any dog that's picked up anywhere in Colorado, any city, anywhere, they're immediately neutered. It doesn't matter if it's the most valuable breed dog on earth, they're going to be neutered immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Whether anybody comes and claims them or not, if they come and claim them, then they have to pay for that cost to get them back, but they're going to be neutered.
Mm-hmm.
And I have inquired if that would be legal in Texas, and it is. You could make a law that says, we pick up your dog, it's going to be neutered. If you want it back, you'll have to pay whatever. You're going to have to pay for the vaccines. You're going to have to pay all those costs to get it back. But it's immediately going to just be neutered. And then you can kind of figure out how many dogs you average pick up. You may pick up how much it costs for a neuter for each one of them, and proceed on that ground. That would be a big deterrent, and anybody who really cared about their animal would probably make sure they keep it in their yard instead of being so flippant about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be something to consider also.
I say spay or neuter.
Yes, well.
Me. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, we have, there's places here that Amber has picked up several litters of puppies from the same family. Because they get in a bind, they have 2 or 3 dogs, and they have 2 or 3 litters, and then they got 20 puppies, and I mean, anything that she picks up here is going to be spayed or neutered to be rehomed. So, I mean, we voted that we would give her $300 a month, and I think it needs to be for vaccinations or, spay and neuter, whatever she thinks the dog needs. I don't know. Kendra and I've had a lot of experience with her, and Deborah. I mean,
no, everybody wants the same.
Yeah, we gotta have it. Because
But,
I mean, if she picks up 400 dogs, and we pay $100 a piece, that's $40,000.
Exactly.
We gotta have have euthanized. We can't take them out and just take a gun to them. Somebody find out I wouldn't go for that myself.
It's illegal.
So I think she has served a very good purpose for our city for the last several years.
Okay, I mean, I thought we already had agreed that's what we're gonna do.
I thought so too.
We budgeted it last year.
And Dan, I would like to know how much money we have paid the Terry County veterinarian since last budget
We,
started?
I'll have to look that up.
Okay,
It's
Okay.
nowhere near that, I can tell you.
no,
This is the first bill that has come to me that was anything more than our animal control officer had taken him down to get a rabies vaccine. That's what
okay,
usually would happen.
okay.
But this particular bill is for deworming and parvo, and that all we've ever done before when our animal control officer, I'm not certain of this, but seems to me it was always just the rabies vaccine, because Sandy would demand, would take the dog, get the rabies vaccine before she would release it to the owner. That's all in conflict, by the way, with the actual ordinance that is in existence for animal control in Seagraves. That ordinance says that when an animal's picked up, the owner's going to get a fine. And the only way that that owner can avoid that fine is to take that dog down and get those vaccines, bring proof of that to the court, and thereby avoid the fine. Otherwise, whatever the judge, whatever the fine the judge is, and it's outlined in there, it's pretty stiff, they're going to have to pay those fines. So whatever we do along these lines, you're going to have to address the ordinance as well.
Yes. And the problem with that is if they tell them that, if they've been told that, then the dog owner a lot of times just says, well, I don't want the dog anymore. I surrender it. So then,
Then it goes for adoption, right?
that's right. Then somebody has to take care of it. But okay, well, I'll get with you on the total of that.
Okay, anyone else have anything else on the other departments?
I do. Mayor,
Yes, Ruben.
the police department. Chief Rick is around. There you are. Hey, how you doing, sir?
Doing well,
Um,
sir.
Have a question. Are you working weekends?
Here and there, I'm working this weekend, as a matter of fact.
Okay. All right. How many officers you had working on July 4th on Saturday night?
I think there was one officer on duty from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you how you do your job, but you would think there would be more than one officer on a holiday like that for fireworks. I mean, going off at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I've been hearing that, I mean, on Facebook blasting how the police department weren't out there giving citation or warning them, this is what's going to happen. Were you working that night? Were you the officer working that night, or you had somebody else?
Somebody else was working. I believe it was Civ.
Okay. So you don't think that you could have had more officers that night to kind of patrol town? Because they were popping them in the middle of the street. I had one right in front of my house. I mean, I just thought that, fireworks, I mean, enforce that pretty good. I mean, it was a lot of complaints about fireworks all night of the hours.
Sir, I agree with you. I think that they, even two officers, the call volume, believe it or not, wasn't that high with the sheriff's department for people calling in for police service was not high at all. The fireworks going off all over the city, it's even with two officers or even three officers, it's going to be very hard to stop, all the fireworks from going off. So basically running from call to call is usually the status deal for small towns. You get one officer on duty or even two officers on duty running from call to call, or just from one fireworks being popped to other fireworks being popped, trying to find the folks that were doing it to let them know that's illegal and to not do that or issue a citation. But it's pretty hard to stop when you've got several hundred people doing it at the same time.
Thank you, sir.
And I would like to add,
You're welcome.
Mayor,
Yes, Deborah.
just to throw out there, I'm like the chief. I mean, unless you have 911 calls, You know, I mean, yes, but it's no different than after we had a celebration of the kids not being in school. They did a parade, set off fireworks. You didn't have anyone complaining then. You know, we have homecoming where they have a bonfire, they set off fireworks then. No one complains then. I understand it's not at 1 a.m. in the morning, but you know, I'm sorry, but our residents, this has gone on for 50 years and it's something that's just going to happen. And that's my opinion.
Mayor,
Yes, Cindy?
I want to tell the chief that I really thought there was a lot less this year than in past years myself. I mean, I know it's hard. I could imagine because kids are sneaky, adults are sneaky. They can set them off and have them all hid before the car can get even in gear. So, you know, I don't have any complaints. I thought we had a lot less. There was that one night that it was a little longer, but I didn't. I mean, like Deborah said, we've had this going on for ever. So I think y'all did as good as could be expected.
Thank you.
Rick, how's everything else going on?
Well, I first want to apologize for being late in the meeting. I had all kinds of technical problems with my laptop and my cell phone. So if I'm breaking up or anything, I'm barely getting service is what I'm saying. So can y'all hear me okay, Charles?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can make it out, yeah.
Okay, all right. The best thing I can tell you, I've got some really good news, is I have found another officer, and he has been employed, and he is in training with us this month. And so we're fully staffed, which is going to help us out a lot with pulling shifts. And it's definitely going to help us out with the budget as far as overtime. It's going to be almost non-existent. And I think he should be done with this training by the end of July and taking a shift by the end of July, beginning of August, depending on how his training's going. He is a veteran, or seasoned officer, should I say. He's got his intermediate peace officer license, and I've known him for a little while before this, working for Lubbock ISD, and he's got good background history. He's got good, no criminal history, and everything else looked well. So he should be, again, done with training by the end of July and take his post and work his shift like everybody else.
Good news.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone have anything else for any of the departments?
Mm-mm.
If there's nothing else, I do need a motion and
Wait a
a
minute,
second.
Charles.
Kendra does.
I'm sorry, I was on mute.
Okay, Kendra.
I'd like to address Renee regarding the problem that we had with I don't even know want to use. I have no idea what term to use, the water pumps or whatever that caused us to go into a boil water advisory.
We had lightning take out the SCADA system on the north side of town, and it ran the battery pack down because the power was out and it was just working on the battery pack. And when it ran the battery pack down, it everything that was running stayed running, but everything that was off stayed off. And our little transfer pumps over there at the north tower did not come on, and the wells on the south side could not keep up with the usage and ran our tanks dry. And I found that the SCADA people had not set up a automatic shut off when the tank got low. And so then we had to deal with an airlock problem as well. And once we got the tanks filled back up, then we solved our problem and we had water. That's all I can tell you. That's what happened.
It seems to me like, I mean, that was a pretty serious issue.
Yep, it was.
And I was there, I mean, because the lightning struck, we hadn't had lightning for 48 hours prior to that,
That's
the
correct.
discovery of that.
That's
So
right.
not any checks and balances in place in order to catch that?
Yes, ma'am. Unfortunately, the gentleman that takes care of that and does our well field stuff got exposed to an active case of COVID-19, and he was off work for a few days. And everything was up on the computer and was showing that everything was fine, because I looked at the SCADA on the computer a couple of times and I did not notice anything that was off. And then once those tanks got low, they went low really, really fast. And it was over the weekend, and we've got new people and they didn't know what to do. I was here till 10 o'clock Sunday night. That's all I can tell you.
Well, and I do appreciate, I know you worked hard to get it going, and I appreciate that. I don't want you to think that I'm questioning that whatsoever, but again,
We have
to the average person, this didn't seem like a big deal. I have a different outlook on it as a small business owner. It was a huge deal to me. I was out an extremely large amount of money, because it hurt me financially. And so I did some research on it. I did question, and that's why I'm questioning it. We have got to have, first off, my concern is why there wasn't any communication about the water being turned off, whether or not there was going to be a boil water issue. There should have been better communication instead of me finding it out on Facebook. That was my concern, my first concern. But secondly, we've got to have a backup to the backup. And I mean, I understand that kid might have been ill or young man, whoever it is.
Bueno.
Okay, well, then there needs to be a backup for Bueno. Somebody needs to be trained for that. It's just like being, the police department. There should be somebody on call at all times.
There are.
But apparently somebody didn't catch that. You just said somebody didn't catch it because he was sick.
Correct. That's correct. It wasn't catch.
Somebody to back up him.
Yeah. Well, we did learn some things out of it, and we are making some steps to correct that problem. And I apologized. I understand that it was, very detrimental to you. It was detrimental to me because I don't like it. I don't like that happening to our city. It looks bad on us, but there's nothing I can do about it except for control it and maintain it and get it back going. And as far as the communication, the whole time from 5 o'clock in the afternoon all the way till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, I'm answering phones. My phone is ringing. My phone is texting. The phone in the office is going off. I mean, I would love to have some sort of communication instantly, but we just don't have that option. It's just like notifying the public of water bills going up. How do we do it? I mean, we don't have any way.
When I'm talking about notifying, I'm just saying there should have been at least one person on the council, that a liaison, maybe, perhaps.
I do believe I did talk to Cindy. Yes, ma'am, I did. She was one of the first people that called me.
I texted, yeah.
Yes, ma'am, texted.
And I sent it to everybody that I could think of.
And from now on, when something does happen like that, y'all will all get a group text.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Renee, why was it a boil water? I mean,
Because
I
we
could go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, you cut out. I didn't hear all your question.
Asking why was it boil water? Because I thought it had to be a break in a line and just, yeah. So
If we lose pressure and we don't have water for over 30 minutes, then I am required by law to tell people to boil water. Now, I took all the precautions, and I'm sure there wasn't anybody affected by it because we flushed lines, we hyperchlorinated, and we got everything filled up as quickly as we possibly could. And, you know, all my samples, I sampled the very next day and got them sent off, and I got the samples, you know, 24 hours later because that's the time. And, you know, they came back good. And, you know, the state called me because somebody called them and they called me and asked me what was going on and, you know, told me that, yes, there is a 7-day waiting period. You have to have those notices for 7 days, but you can also rescind them once you get your samples back that are good. So we had to post rescind notices over the boil water notices. And we have to leave them for 7 days. But
you know, we've had this before. That's why I
Yeah.
was asking.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, because you know, you left that TCEQ website at our
Yeah.
city council, and
Yes.
I wrote that down, and I went and kind of looked to see. And the way I understood it, it was just if you had lines that were broke. But I've learned something today. If
Yeah. Anytime we lose pressure under 20 PSI, I'm required by the state law to do it. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of cities that don't because it's a pain in the butt. It makes you look bad and it goes on record. But I never want to be caught, you know, not doing what I'm supposed to. And I know it's very inconvenient. And I apologize.
and Renee, I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you have the 2 summer help. Have you hired some people besides the 2 summer help?
Yes, ma'am.
Who all do we have? How many regular employees do you have now?
I actually have 4 summer help. Four summer helps. I have a man named Mike Flores. I have Marco Avalos. I have Santana Trevino and Caesar. I can't ever remember their last names. Caesar something. I can't think of his name. I am one man short, one full-time man short, but I'm not worried about hiring anybody because I got plenty of summer help.
So is Colin new?
Colin is new and Angel Triana is new.
And Angel is different from the summer Triana.
Yes, it's Trevino.
Trevino.
Santana Trevino, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Angel is Manuel Martinez's partner, and Colin doesn't have a partner right now. He's working with Michael Flores, and he's a summer hand.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I actually do have someone that has given me an application and a resume that I would like to talk to y'all later about hiring. And I don't want to talk about it right now, though.
We can go into executive session.
Well, no, it's fine. We'll wait till later.
Mayor, I have a question. Cindy,
Go ahead.
Durham.
Yes, Susie?
This is for Renee. It's just a simple question. How is the pool doing?
The pool is doing very well.
Okay.
Angel Triana and Colin Spann both went through, and Vicky all went through the online classes, and Colin and Angel both turned in their certificates today, and the pool is looking real good. The pool is doing well. We had to buy another refrigerator because the last one, I guess the lightning storm got it, because Vicky says that she plugged it up and it was working fine, and the next day it did not. And we messed with it and we can't get it going. So we went and bought a new one.
Okay,
But other than that, I think the pool is doing very, very well.
good. Thank you.
Mayor, I got a
Welcome.
question.
Yes.
To
Mhm.
Renee, going back to what Kendra was saying about all this, and you said that Bueno was the one that was sick, that's why he didn't check it. That day I went to pass by the yard. He was at the yard. He was on top of the tank checking it. Why was he there when he was supposed to be at home?
Okay, well, the deal was is that he did take off a couple of days because he went to get tested. And I called the health department and talked to Zach Holbrook. And Zach said as long as he wasn't presenting any symptoms that he could work, but he couldn't work with the other employees. So Joe actually worked, but there was Thursday and Friday he did not work, or Monday. He was off for those days. And then he was tested and he did come back negative, and his family did come back negative. Now I have one that was at home that had tested positive, which was Marco Avalos. And I got his results today because I told him to retest and it came back negative. So he'll be back to work tomorrow. Joe didn't want to take off. He says he wasn't sick, but I made him take off whenever he told me that he had been around someone that tested positive and closely. I made him go home. It was very bad timing. Let's just put it that way.
Anybody have anything else?
I don't.
I guess I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items on the departments.
I
I
second.
second.
Motion has been made in second. All in favor? Ruben Vaz,
Aye.
Deborah Milton,
Aye.
Kendra Sellers,
Aye.
Cindy Durham. I didn't hear you, Cindy.
I'm sorry. Aye.
Okay, motion has been made in second. Are there any more discussion for the consent agenda? If they're not, motion passed. Next on the agenda is public comments. Are there anyone on there, Dan?
No one.
There's no public comments. Next, is there any items warrant discussion, but no action will be taken at this time? Like new business.
When are we going to start working on the budget? Every year we've been hard to get it done and meet those deadlines that have to be published. I think we need to be working on it immediately.
Okay, do you set a date for the next meeting, like 2 weeks from now?
Well, have the departments received their, have they
I
started
don't think.
working on their end?
Pre-budget stuff.
I have not.
So maybe we should set the deadline for department heads to have their budget request turned in, and then we'd know when we can start meeting.
Okay.
I can
Okay.
get the proposed budget, the budget request to the department heads like I did last year. There are several new rules surrounding budgeting and the dates for when that has to be done, all tied to the recently changed law by the legislature, which limits the amount of tax increase you're able to make. And the justifications are a lot harder to prove. But the main thing that's prevented me from getting that to them was this question about the rate increase, because I wanted to know if I was going to be writing in all of those new budget line items that Mr. Neal had recommended. Now I know I am to do that. So I'll get those written in as soon as they're ready. I'll get those budget requests to the department heads, and then we'll take it from there. In the meantime, please, I'll get you what information I can about how the laws around budgeting have changed. But the best thing would be to take a look at that seminar that I believe the mayor's got a copy of it, and I think that he can share that with you. It's a 3-part webinar that pretty thoroughly explains everything that has changed from the legislature. So I think you're all going to want to be aware of that before we go into it. It's a different process than we've all been used to.
I have a comment on that. You had brought that up at our last meeting. Mayor Evans, did you ever watch that?
Not really, not all of it. No, I plan on doing it any time though. Been working on my taxes. No, I hadn't watched it. I hadn't watched it, but I can forward it to everybody.
Please
My-
do.
My comment on that is that we paid money for that. I think the last 2 years, the way we've worked the budget has done the way we've handled, the way we've done it worked for us. Spend time on how we need to work our budget unless it just has rules. But I think the way we do our budget is how we need to proceed. I don't think we have to watch a video to tell us how to do it. Now, if there are new dates and things like that, but, we paid money for that video and, Charles has had it for 2 months. So
I'm not, but
that's my opinion.
I'm with Deborah.
Well, as I said, I'll get the budget request to the department heads. That's the way to start it. And it shouldn't take me very long to build the budget. We're splitting water sewer into 2 different departments. Now it's going to be the water department and the sewer department. And that's why I was waiting for a decision on whether we were going to pass the rate increase and then the necessity of having to split that out. Now that I know we are, I know what to do and I'll get on it.
And also, while we're on the subject, if those can go out sometime this week, Dan, then I think we ought to give the department heads until the 27th. That's 2 weeks from tonight
Seems
to
reasonable.
get their results back so we can get busy on it the first part of August.
I agree. It's something that we're going to need to work on diligently. And I'll try and get as much information as far as dates, that kind of thing for you. It's also new. Normally, these kind of things, you can just go and you can get a budget calendar. But things are like anything else. The legislature passed a law that's going to take some time to sort out. But fortunately, we got the cover of the pandemic also. So I think we're okay. I think we're going to be all right. And we'll get started on it right away. I've been waiting to do that. And now I know I can.
okay. Next meeting.
August the 10th. August 10th. 6 o'clock.
Okay,
Can we have it in person?
Who knows?
well,
We can't?
it's the 10, it's 10, unless the 10 person change, now you can, if it's over 10, you can't.
The governor has extended this suspension of the open meetings rules.
Okay.
Every month, he makes a new proclamation and extends that. He's extended those deadlines to the end of this month. So I am going to assume, the way all the indications are, we're not going to be through this pandemic by the end of this month. So I would assume the safe bet is plan on a Zoom meeting, because I don't see that there's going to be an alternative. And
Even if we wear a mask?
that's up to the governor.
Oh, okay, okay.
But if we, how did we have it last month at the chamber? I mean, if he just extended his rule, how did we have it last month, Dan?
He says you may.
Yeah.
He says you may. You may.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, as the mayor is saying, right now in this county, and according to another proclamation, another executive action from the governor, gatherings are limited to 10 people. So unless the governor raises that, but what I hear on the news is the governor's threatening to shut the state down because no one is complying with his suggestion to wear masks. So last I read, he's considering stepping back, not stepping forward.
I think we need to have, I mean, our next meeting, August the 10th, with the understanding that we have it at the community building, unless he shuts down the state. I also would like to set a date of August the 3rd. It's the Monday before, to start have a workshop to start working on the budget. And that will just be at that very first one, it won't be any department heads. It will just be the council and the mayor and Dan. That's less than 10.
I'm game. What time do you want the August 3rd meeting?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
And can we see if we can have it at the community building too?
If it's over 10 people, not unless that changes, I won't be there.
It's a workshop, Charles. It's working on the budget. August the 3rd, it would be a workshop.
There should just be 7.
Right.
Oh, 8. Us 5, Charles and Dan. Yeah, 7. There'll just be 7.
And that's a workshop. That's not our meeting. That's a budget workshop. Ruben, y'all think?
I agree. I mean, we can make it happen on August 3rd. I'm good.
I will call, and I know that Minetta's on vacation, and so I will call Banette and ask her if we can have the community building on August the 3rd for a budget workshop. And then, like I said, I propose that we have our next regular meeting August the 10th at the community building, unless the governor shuts down the state.
If it's not over 10 people, it's got to be 10 less.
The problem, if it is still restricted to 10 people, there's no Wi-Fi at the community building. Whereas we do have Wi-Fi. If you're going to have an open meeting that is not going to be broadcast to the public, then you're in violation of the amended open meetings. See, because right now this is available to anyone. It's on our website. Anybody who wants to join can. Anybody who wants to see this can. And anybody who hasn't seen it is invited to look at the recording of it. So if you're restricting the people who can attend that to 10 without being able to broadcast it in addition to that, that's going to be an issue.
Can you do it somewhere else besides the community building, somewhere where they have Wi-Fi? I mean,
The community building has Wi-Fi. People sit in front of the community building all night long to get the free Wi-Fi.
oh,
It wasn't available the last time we were there. I was trying to broadcast that. What I wound up having to do is record it and then try and upload that recording. But the recording was 200 and some gigabytes. It wouldn't upload. So the Zoom has filters to deal with that, but just taking a 2-hour movie and trying to upload it, I don't have the technical expertise to make it happen. I'm sorry. And as far as there being Wi-Fi at the community building, I won't dispute that, but it wasn't available on the computer I was searching for it with.
I have a comment.
Yes, and
I know there's Wi-Fi there. Now it may not have a router, but there's Wi-Fi because Manetta stays down there a lot,
Well, let's ask her.
odd hours.
Let's ask her. If it's there, I'd love to know about it. If it's a matter of using an Ethernet cable instead, fine.
Yeah, we can get a router or a, so.
Sure.
Call the courthouse tomorrow because Manetta is on vacation, but I will find out from Bennett.
Good deal.
there's nothing else. I guess the only thing left is to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
Motion been made and second to adjourn. Meeting adjourned.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Stay safe.